Most terrifying natural disasters. Unforgettable moments caught on 4K camera 2023. Cyclone Freddy. Extremely powerful tropical cyclone Freddy was a cyclone that ravaged the southern Indian Ocean for more than 5 weeks in February and March 2023. It was particularly strong, devastating, and long-lived. The tropical cyclone Freddy produced the most ACEs and lasted the longest ever observed globally. It is also the third deadliest tropical storm in the Southern Hemisphere, trailing only Storm Idai in 2019 and Flores cyclone in 1973. It was the second extremely violent tropical cyclone of the 2022-23 Southwest Indian Ocean cyclone season, and the fourth named storm overall for the Australian region. On February 5, 2023, a disruption known as Freddy first appeared. The storm soon strengthened into a Category 4 severe tropical cyclone while still in the Australian area cyclone basin before moving into the Southwest Indian Ocean basin, where it strengthened even more. When Freddy was at its strongest, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center predicted sustained winds of 270 km per hour, or 165 miles per hour, which corresponds to a Category 5 strength on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It was upgraded to a very violent tropical storm on February 19th by Meteo France, with an estimated 10-minute winds of 220 km per hour. Freddy first touched down close to Manahara, Madagascar. Over land, the storm quickly lost strength but quickly recovered near the Mozambique Channel. Soon after, just south of Vilanculos, Mozambique, Freddy made a second landfall before swiftly losing strength. Unexpectedly, the system made it out of Mozambique alive and returned across the channel on March 1st. The MFR promptly reclassified Freddy as a tropical cyclone. Freddy accelerated twice during the course of 10 days before slowing to a semi-stationary movement near Quelimane, Mozambique. The storm rapidly degraded as it moved northwestward inland, and it was last seen on March 14th. In the Mascarene Islands, preparations for the storm included, among other things, the grounding of flights, the issuing of cyclone advisories, and the training of personnel for the aftermath. It was expected that the storm's arrival in Madagascar would worsen the situation in areas that had already been impacted by Cyclone Basiri and Chinizo. On February 20th through 21st, Freddy passed north of Mauritius and Reunion, bringing with him winds and unfavorable weather. A 16-person crew on a Taiwanese flag boat went missing northeast of Mauritius. Many homes in southeast Madagascar were damaged by the cyclone. More severe effects than in Madagascar included heavy rains in the southern half of the country and extensive infrastructural damage. More than 300 millimeters of rain fell in certain areas of the nation. After its second landfall, Mozambique's effects were worsened by further flooding and wind damage. Malawi was hardest devastated, when relentless rains led to devastating flash floods, with Ballantyre bearing the brunt of it. The hydroelectric dam was rendered dysfunctional, crippling the country's electrical infrastructure. Overall, at least 1,434 people were killed by the cyclone, making it the first tropical cyclone to kill at least 1,000 people since Cyclone Idai in 2019. At least 1,216 people were killed by Freddy's onslaught, with 537 missing and presumed dead in Malawi, 198 in Mozambique, 17 in Madagascar, 2 in Zimbabwe, and 1 in Mauritius. Particularly concerning was the risk to millions of others' access to food. The cholera pandemic was made worse by significant floods when the storm hit Mozambique and Malawi at the same time. Cyclone survivors were seen anxiously sifting through debris with their bare hands in hopes of discovering additional survivors. Every day as the aftermath lingered in the impacted area, several bodies were discovered. Afghanistan cold snap. On January 10, 2023, Afghanistan had a cold snap. In higher mountainous areas, snowfall reached 30 centimeters and temperatures as low as 33 degrees Celsius. Up to Cyclone Freddy, the cold snap was 2023's deadliest weather disaster with at least 160 fatalities. In addition, over 80,000 animals perished. At least 162 persons were killed directly or indirectly in different provinces as a result of the 33 degrees Celsius cold temperatures and up to 30 centimeters of snow in the higher mountain elevations. In the province of Herat, at least 140 persons who used gas for heating were hospitalized for carbon monoxide poisoning. Weather-related animal deaths totaled over 77,000. Over 50 homes were damaged nationwide. The cold struck while more than half of Afghanistan's population was suffering from a famine. Following the 2021 Taliban attack and the restoration of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, the nation had become a pariah state, which resulted in a reduction of foreign aid. Aid from humanitarian assistance initiatives was given in the form of heating and financial support. Humanitarian aid from abroad was hindered by a ban on women's participation. On January 17th, these limitations on medical assistances were loosened, allowing non-governmental organizations, including the International Rescue Committee, Save the Children, and Care International, to resume operations. Hibatullah Akhundzada, the supreme leader, declared that the limitations will not be lifted. Military helicopters were employed to rescue those who had been cut off by the snow, but they couldn't get to Afghanistan's hilly areas. Sarasan landslide. On March 6, 2023, Sarasan Island in the Riau Islands of Indonesia's Natuna Regency saw a number of landslides as a result of persistent rain. Nearly 50 people died, 4 more are still missing, and communication with the Sarasan Island was completely lost. It is said that a whole village was burned. Cyclone Chinezo. A powerful tropical cyclone named Chinezo hit Madagascar in January 2023. Chinezo, the 5th tropical cyclone and 4th tropical storm in the southwest Indian Ocean cyclone season 2022 through 2023, formed a zone of disturbed meteorological status that was first observed at RSMC La Réunion on January 17th. On January 18th, despite convection forming a curved band pattern, the system developed into a tropical depression. The following day, the depression intensified into severe tropical storm Chinezo. Before breaking into the Mozambique Channel, Chinezo made landfall over northern Madagascar and then weakened into an interior depression. On January 25th, Chinezo later intensified into a tropical cyclone. Before becoming a post-tropical depression on January 29th, the system kept heading southeast. 33 fatalities and 20 unaccounted for have been recorded by the National Office for Risk and Disaster Management, BNGRC. According to the organization, 34,100 of the 90,870 impacted individuals were displaced. Damage was done to 164 schools and over 23,600 houses. Since millions were anticipated to be affected, humanitarians and authorities also supported post-storm planning and relief activities. 2 weeks later, a considerably stronger Cyclone Freddy hit the same regions. Chinezo produced 100 millimeters (3.9 inches) of rain in Sambava, Madagascar. For a number of river basins, Meteo Madagascar issued a red flood watch. The Madagascarian government imposed a temporary halt on schools. Along Madagascar's northwest coast, strong winds blew from north to south. Numerous bridges were demolished. On January 19th, Chinezo made landfall as a severe tropical storm between the towns of Sambava and Antala. 34,100 of the 90,870 impacted people listed by the BNGRC were displaced. The attack of Chinezo claimed the lives of at least 33 persons, while 20 more are still missing. Over 23,600 homes, 18 medical facilities, and 164 schools were also damaged. It is estimated that 1,400 rice fields were flooded. Oman replied by sending 35 tons of food aid and 7 tons of Medicare supply to the storm victims. According to municipal authorities, individuals in need are receiving food supplies. Sao Paulo floods and landslides. There were numerous mudslides and landslides across Sao Paulo as a result of the heavy rains, with São Sebastião suffering the most. Authorities reported 44 fatalities as of February 21st. 43 of them occurred in São Sebastião and the remaining 3 in Ubatuba. Numerous people are still missing, and there were an additional 23 injuries, including 6 serious ones. In São Sebastião, at least 50 dwellings were obliterated. At least 2,496 people lost their homes or were forced to relocate. Numerous landslides covered or completely destroyed portions of the Rio Santos Highway, the principal road in the area connecting it to the state of Rio de Janeiro. Another route that ran between Santos and Bertioga was closed. On February 21st, Juque was affected by landslides that caused the displacement of 80 persons. The port of Santos was shut down on February 18th due to winds over 55 kilometers per hour and waves that were over 1 meter high. Natural disasters cannot be completely avoided, but there are steps that can be taken to lessen their effects and risks to people and property. The combination of these steps, along with proper coordination between governments, communities, and international organizations, is the key to effectively lessening the impact of natural disasters. Even while we cannot stop natural disasters, investing in risk reduction and resilience building strategies can greatly reduce their effects and improve population safety and well-being.